Hi everyone, we are back with the new episodes of the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem and here is the news. For 269 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has arrived in Kyiv for the first time since his appointment to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, reports Interfax Ukraine. Zelensky said that during the meeting with Sunak, they discussed possibilities to protect the Ukrainian and European energy security, defense of Ukrainian sky, and defense cooperation more broadly. Sunak announced that the UK will provide Ukraine with 120 special anti-aircraft guns, radars, and training for military doctors and engineers. The UK will also increase its military and other forms of assistance to help Ukraine overcome the upcoming winter and send winter equipment to the Ukrainian military. Sunak also noted that the UK will provide Ukraine with humanitarian aid for more than £16 million. The funds will be provided via World Food Programme's response and the International Organization for Migration. It will help provide generators, shelter, water repairs, and mobile health clinics. The UK is also sending tens of thousands of extremely cold winter kits to Ukrainian troops. The Prime Minister stressed that the UK will continue to provide assistance to Ukraine until it achieves peace. In addition, the parties discussed insurance of military risk for investments in Ukraine. According to Zelensky, there are already certain developments and soon the parties will try to reach specific agreements. They also discussed the signing of an agreement on digital trade between Ukraine and the UK. The president expressed hope for possible steps to recognize the Holodomor famine as an act of genocide of the Ukrainian people. Yesterday, a train from Kyiv arrived in liberated Kherson for the first time since the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, reports Suspilne. The train had 200 passengers who bought so-called victory tickets that you can buy to the occupied cities of Ukraine to support their liberation and use once it happens. Voluntary evacuation from the deoccupied territories of the Kherson and Mykolaiv regions have begun, reports Fakty. The state will bear all the related costs. Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for the Reintegration of Temporarily Occupied Territories Irina Vereshchuk said that they aim to reach everyone to offer them to leave throughout Mykolaiv or Kryvyi Rih to the safer western regions. She stressed that the risk of shellings is still high in Kherson. The Wall Street Journal assesses that after the retreat from Kherson, the Russian forces intensified their attacks in the east of Ukraine, transferring the detached units to the Donetsk region, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The publication notes that the loss of Kherson was a serious blow to Moscow. According to the Wall Street Journal, about 20,000 Russian servicemen who previously fought in the Kherson region will now be transferred to Donbas and join the recently mobilized Russians. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy focuses efforts on restraining the actions of the Ukrainian units while trying to advance in some of the directions, reports Grunt Media. Over the past day, Ukrainian forces have repelled attacks in 7 areas of the Lugansk and Donetsk regions. Deputy Defense Minister Major General Volodymyr Gavrilov said in an interview with Sky News that the war with Russia will end by the end of spring, reports Liga. Gavrilov believes that Ukrainian forces can return to Crimea by the end of December. He also called the probability of a nuclear attack by Russia low, but assured that it is not a threat that will stop the armed forces from liberating all territories. Previously, Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov expressed hope that by the end of 2022, Ukrainians will have good news regarding the situation at the front, but he could not say when the war will end. At the same time, head of the president's office Andriy Yermak believes that it is unlikely that Ukraine will be able to end the war unleashed by Russia by the end of spring next year, reports Ukrinform. He said that Gavrilov's statements sound more like a dream and it's impossible to predict when the war will end. According to the Washington Post sources in the US and other Western intelligence, Iran and Russia signed an agreement on the production of drones on Russian territory, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Russian and Iranian officials finalized the deal in early November, and the two countries are moving quickly to hand over designs and key components that could allow production to begin within months. For Moscow, this agreement could satisfy the acute need for high-precision ammunition, which is in short supply after 9 months of hostilities. The deal also offers significant economic and political benefits for Iran, officials said. Iran's leaders may believe that they can avoid new sanctions if the drones are physically assembled in Russia, officials said. If you like what we do and would like to tip us, you can now do so directly to our PayPal. check out the link in the description to this episode for more details. And as usual, you can subscribe to our Patreon. In gratitude for your help, we will give you access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.